There's only one real way to celebrate the 4th of July, and that is by being the most American that I can be on this day. So it's time for another fantastic discussion video as Santa Robbie returns to the battlefield, and what I think will be a very interesting discussion with my co-commentator and life partner. Happy 4th of July, America. Let's dig into this, shall we? For those of you that have not realized yet, Super Necrovalley is probably right around the corner. Now, I get it. You're like, oh my god, Robbie, what are you talking about? So they recently announced some new Gravekeeper support in Soul Fusion. And by announced, they showed some new pictures on a display in Japan. And America was like, oh my god, we saw influences in secondary market prices. No, Hakuman! Okay, buddy, I get it. I know you want to cuddle, okay? Just, Hakuman doesn't want to be here right now, it would seem. We saw that there were some price spikes, you know, general hype things. But the thing I wanted to touch on today is Super Necrovalley. Alright, so let's be real here for a sec. I know everybody loves Gravekeepers. I know everybody loves the fact that Royal Tribute is one of the best damn removal cards in the game. Being able to resolve it when you have Necrovalley on the field to remove everything from your opponent's hand. You know, Royal Tribute has long since been limited to 1. If the card was to come off of the list to some rather larger degree, then honestly, you know, the deck might be able to do something here. But on top of current existing support, Gravekeepers, Necrovalley doesn't do what it needs to do. Now, when I talk about Super Necrovalley, this was like a joke that kind of originated from my Discord group, but we were talking about it for a little bit. We're like, what more does Necrovalley need to do? Currently, Necrovalley shuts off everything going to the graveyard, so it doesn't allow anything to basically happen in there. Self-sufficient shut-off type of thing, on top of boosting, you know, by a certain amount. Now, how much more does Necrovalley have to do? Necrovalley currently does not stop things from resolving in the hand. Honestly, Necrovalley is kind of just one of those cards that when you look at it within the confines of the current format, how much is it really doing? I mean, shutting off, you know, being able to negate all effects in the graveyard would probably be optimal. I mean, the cards had like 9,000 erratas at this point. But if you could also put in some sort of searchability, don't get me wrong, Necrovalley is one of the best anti-meta cards to exist in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But you've done so much with Gravekeepers. I would honestly, at this point, I would just include a searchability effect into it. You know, if you would give Gravekeepers Super Necrovalley, give them searchability, give them, you know, the whole 9 yards. I know having a hand trap be able to shut off Necrovalley is kind of counterintuitive. You could also slap on that this card is unaffected by all card effects, which would be bad, but it's not to the extent in which they should go. Now, when I talk about Super Necrovalley needing to be a card, when you look at Gravekeepers as a whole, their support has been misused throughout the years. Spy and Guard, fantastic examples. You know, even bounceability with Assailant and things like that. There's a lot going on within the Gravekeeper archetype. Some of their most recent support was the guy that was unaffected by all card effects, I believe, including Necrovalley when he was face up on the field. I believe we're getting a new version of him. You know, they've given them Gravekeeper's command to search for Necrovalley. It's not like the deck is under-supported and, you know, the tools that it has available to it. But my problem with this is people look at Necrovalley and they see the utility of Necrovalley as a standalone independent engine. People would cite Necrovalley as a means to shut off graveyard effects. People would also use Commandant to search for Necrovalley. And that was to the extent in which we've seen, you know, Necrovalley and Commandant be used in Tier 1 besides Guard and Spy. Now, when you go down this paradigm, Gravekeepers have a lot of other interesting support. You know, they've got Tombs for full negation. They've got Special Summon negation. Like, the whole deck was designed to be anti-meta, which is fine. But what more do we need to give them? So, having an upgraded version of Heretic, by the way it looks, would be a good start, honestly. Pumping it up to 2000 level 4 and still have it remain in its same clause, I think would be a good start. Unaffected by all card effects, even not so much with Necrovalley on the field, I think would also be a very good way to boost the morale of the deck, you know, in addition to Super Necrovalley. And I do want to open up the floor in the comment section to the concept behind Super Necrovalley. You know, you need to do something. You could be like the blood moon or the full moon under the Necrovalley or some shit like that. Having a increased effect based on prior context, or you need to do something to specifically boost Gravekeepers. You know, I would say underneath lore, something like a full moon underneath the Necrovalley would be cool, you know. What was it? Death passing can often be influenced by stronger moons. I don't know. Some really weird lore out there for these types of things, you know. Or passing can be stronger at X point. Like, also, Yami ship never kind of made its way into the Gravekeeper archetype. You know, what is it? The ship that you would sail in to hell or to heaven or to whichever it is in Egyptian lore. But the Yomi ship does exist from prior generations. I think it was Pharaonic Guardian or some shit. But that's another thing that kind of just never made its way in to the archetype. And, you know, Santa Robbie is just kind of speculating here. But there's a lot of cool things that they've kind of just not given Gravekeepers in terms of generalized lore, in terms of just self-strengthening cards. Now, if Legendary Ocean and Yumi can get strengthened 8 times over, you know, why can't we just make a new Necrovalley card? You know, include the text of this card always is treated as Necrovalley while in the deck. That way you can resolve said field spell or said commandant to go search for it, so there's no conflict of interest. You know, you've done these particular things with, you know, Harpies in general. You know, you made their names count as X possession. You know, Harpy Lady 1, 2, and 3 all count as Harpy Lady while in the deck. You know, but you need to re-strengthen the deck. You know, you need to rebuild Necrovalley itself to keep it in with current things. Now, I know not every archetype will get the same treatment here. You know, when you look at Gravekeepers in general, rebuilding a field spell just because a game has evolved doesn't necessarily settle well with people. And I get that. Don't get me wrong. But you need to do something if you want to continue to push this support. You know, the game's been out for 14 years. You have the concept. You know, I think original design Necrovalley, the reason why it's had so many erratas was because, obviously, it's easier to errata the definition of graveyard than, you know, it is to rebuild and strengthen a card. And the way that they left Necrovalley in its previous iterations has been excellent. You know, you've had the ability to change it as you would, and that's fine. You know, I support that, but I think the time has come going forward that you need to build a whole new hierarchy for Super Necrovalley. Just let that be said. Now, the new support, I'm definitely thinking we're probably going to get. Oracle wasn't great. Priestess or whatever, the one that put Necrovalley on the field or gave the continuous effect to it. There's a lot of weird shit going on within the Gravekeeper archetype, but a larger beat stick, more general interactive negations would be great. Like, I don't think people understand that if you give a deck way more destruction, way more negation, they'll probably actually be able to do something. And Gravekeepers, whew, you've already got anti-special summoning. You've got negation already built in. Give them more. Give them draw cards. Like, a normal summon discard draw 2 would be bad, in my opinion. We've seen effects like... effects that take up committed normal summons are bad, but you've already got a way to build a stun engine into the deck. I mean, Inspect Border helps. I mean, you could give Gravekeeper Throw and Inspect Border and get the effects of all monsters on the field while Necrovalley's on the field. That would be some good support, honestly. I could see something stupid like that coming out. I guess that's how you could upgrade Heretic to some degree, but I don't know. It's cool to speculate on these types of things to see how Konami actually evolves the archetype. But until it actually happens and things like that, you know, I don't know. What do you guys think Super Necrovalley can do? Do you think it'll be a bad thing? Do you think it would be a good thing? Do you think that Necrovalley does not need an errata? Do you think things are perfectly fine? Do you think Sanarabi is just for the delight out of his mind? Please, by all means, leave a comment down below in the comment section. I always welcome discussion. And, well, hopefully, in the near future, we will be getting some really interesting card design, because I'm looking forward to seeing where this game is going. Alright guys, do Serenos. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel, and join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.